Hello and welcome to another anime lore and theory video. I'm Shergok, your host, and today we are going to take a closer look at how, spoiler alert, Megumin had killed her former teacher, the very person that fought her explosion magic. But before we're going to take a closer look at any of this, let me quickly thank my Patreons for supporting this channel and say thanks to all users of the YouTube thanks function for making one-time donations. And with that said, let's get to the topic at hand. Megumin was always eccentric, and she is relatively quick to use her explosion magic whenever the situation calls for it. Whenever someone questions her abilities, or just because she wants to unleash at least one explosion every single day, no matter what. This habit went so far that she attacked the seemingly abandoned castle of one of the Demon King's generals every single day with her explosion, even after the general politely asked the residents of Axel to simply stop. But Megumin continued to unleash an explosion every day regardless. So, every single day, the question arises, why did Megumin use the explosion spell to take out her teacher? And with that said, the question arises, why did Megumin use the explosion spell to take out her teacher? Because let's be honest, Megumin wouldn't have used anything else. But before we get to the end of Megumin's teacher, we might need to clarify who she actually was. Because Megumin was fought by Puchin back in the Red Prison. And that brings us to the heart of the Megumin prequel. And yes, they are actually canon. The prequel explains how Megumin lived in her village and why she was so fascinated by explosion magic that she wanted to learn only explosion magic. Now, to understand this, we need to know that Megumin is extremely intelligent, just like all of the Crimson Demons. Because all Crimson Demons, by their very definition, are casters, and all casters need intelligence to use their magic and increase its potency. Since the Crimson Demons were created to be extremely powerful casters. Incidentally, by a man with a cheat ability that he received from Aqua, the ability to invent anything he can think of. They are already more clever as children than many demons. Now, this makes them also capable of solving complicated puzzles or accidentally breaking high-level seals. And that exactly is what Megumin did. Both of it. Because of sheer boredom, she accidentally unleashed the dark goddess Volbach by solving her sealing puzzle. And here we need to dig even deeper. Because the monsters seen here and the mysterious woman who saved Megumin from it are actually two halves of the same person, the dark goddess Volbach. And Volbach is the goddess of sloth and wrath, and was split into two parts when she was sealed. Both parts can absorb each other, and Volbach managed to seal her other yet untamed half and escape from the rest of the Crimson Demons. Now the question might arise, why seal a dark deity in the village of the Crimson Demons, where children can play near the shrine and accidentally unseal her? And the answer is quite simple. The Crimson Demons found it pretty neat to have a dark deity sealed in the village. And it was also intended as a tourist attraction, so in short the usual reasons for Crimson Demons. And Volbach used the explosion spell to get rid of her dark half for the moment. Now the question then arises might be, why? Well, Volbach is the goddess of violence and sloth, and engaged in some procrastination herself, but she also had to wait until her other half calmed down, that is the violence half, so that it can be more easily reabsorbed back into her. And now to the meat of the video. Since Megumin freed her, Volbach granted her a wish. After considering grand plots and world domination, Megumin settled for her third choice, the explosion spell, because she was fascinated by the immense power Volbach had unleashed. Now, unlike Megumin, Volbach didn't run out of mana because she used the explosion spell, although most of her mana reserves were still used up. So even Volbach could only use one explosion per day, plus a few teleportation spells, in her divided state. And another goddess, the one of party tricks, has similar, or even more mana than her. After all, Aqua once fired the most mana-consuming Sacred Break spell in Konosuba's history. Oh, and this scene always reminds me of Ashura's attack against Shinigami. I'm sure it's purely coincidental. Now, despite this, there was still enough mana left to fuel the most powerful explosion spell Megumin had ever unleashed to this very day, without Aqua actually collapsing afterwards. On the contrary, she could continue healing and buffing cheerfully and without a worry in the world. So she still had much mana to spare. Just to give you an idea of how much mana an explosion spell requires, without causing someone to collapse. At the very least, you need to be on a deity level, or a half goddess, in the most literal sense. So thanks to Megumin solving a puzzle, the sloth half of Volbach was once again free to roam the world, while Megumin had no idea what she had actually done. And her other half was then released again by another child of the Crimson Demons, Megumin's little sister Komeko, who then found what was left of Volbach's other half after the explosion spell, namely Komeko. This is why the powerful demon Arnis sought out Megumin and was ultimately destroyed by her own explosion magic. And this key event in her childhood left Megumin lifelong fascinated by explosion magic. And fun fact, she almost met her teacher again in Arkan Rezia, the city of hot springs, and that teacher was none other than the woman who was talking to Hans, and the one whom Kazuma, let's call it, scrutinized very, very closely, making it almost seem like she had been caught, while Kazuma was actually just being Kazuma. So just like how Roxy and Rudy almost saw each other again in Windport, but missed another, Megumin almost met her old teacher again, but ultimately both went past each other unnoticed. And that's it, at least for the first part. Part 2 will be out tomorrow. And with that said, now it's your turn. What do you think about Megumin and Volbach? Let me know it down in the comment section. And while you type, I say thank you very much for watching, and special thanks to Ada Daddy Ader, ASK, Bad Guy Ye, Bad Burrito 316, Biza, Ben C, Brandon D, Chrissy, Crowley 0221, Sia, Crystal Prime, Dead Slime, Death is Mercy, Deathless Dragonlord, Demon Xenomorph 1987, Devin Downen, Ding Dong, Din Pep, Dragonlord Placido Saxophone, Duckwagon, Dunkler Krieger, Dystopia, Dystopia II, Enigmatic Unicorn, Thirashivan, Guy with That Head, Hector Marino, Hoss, Huster, Jacob G, Jana B, Jason, J. Morris, Chromius, Kyle R, Lee K. Long, Legendarius, Lelouch Britannia with a Mustache, Lexus Fox, Lord Nishikian Rai, Lord Touch Me, Loverazor, Merovec, Mr. Shoes, Mr. Tweaker, Michael R, Michael Y, Nope, oh hell no, Normal Toad, O'Kill, Overlord General Gasper, Paddy Pantom, Personage, Primus 11, Rhinomere, Cune Caracos P, Shergox's Daddy, Shadow Lightning Wolf, Shrine Keeper, Sir Axolotl, Super Tier Magic Batista Bomb, Supreme Cheese, Staris, Ted, Texas Deer, The Orc Warboss, Rock Ed Smasher, T.E. Wang, Vash Hawkeye, Vegito 27, Venture Fanatic, Wilhelm, Zenukai, and Zonagon. Thanks guys. Anyway, have a nice day, and I hope to see you all again soon on my next video.